Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today, Friday, November 22nd, 2024. In studio with me today is Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and today we are talking all things agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're talking about the work that has been done over, let's say, the last 2 years, over the last year, and he's here to answer all of my questions and all of your questions.
Indeed.
Okay, and I'm pretty confident that you can do that. So we're looking at agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis, where we are now. Tell us about your journey in terms of where it started when you became the Minister of Agriculture. What were some of the things that were a matter of priority for you that you have now, let me say, accomplished?
Now, if we have to go back to the beginning of the journey, and good morning to everybody listening, good morning, and thank you for having me on your show. And it really is my honor to be here for the first time.
Yes,
on
welcome.
The edge. Yes. And so I'm delighted to speak on such a critical component of our diversification plan nationally, and also the sustainable development plan for St. Kitts and Nevis, as we thrive to be one of the most sustainable island states in the world. Agriculture, of course, is at the focal point of that development. Mm-hmm. And going back to the beginning, which would have been August 2022, it really started in a very unique way for me, because we were sworn in on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. We got to cabinet on a Monday. On a Tuesday morning, I got a call from the Prime Minister, who said he needed me to go and represent him at a heads of government meeting in Trinidad, because the discussion was about agriculture. And I left the Wednesday. And so 3 days into being in office, I had to stand in the room with all the heads of the Caribbean region and discuss agriculture. Mm-hmm. Understand how daunting that task would have been. Mm-hmm. But what came out of that meeting was a discussion of CARICOM's 25 by 25 agenda, and recognizing on return that St. Kitts and Nevis was not in a position yet to really achieve that agenda, although it was half the way through the cycle. Mm-hmm. So CARICOM would have initiated this around 2019-2020 officially. Here we are in 2022, not really fully participating in that agenda. And so I brought that concept back to the country, and that was the focal point of our development. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, recognizing we only have half the time, we had to craft a plan that encompassed where we were, what needs to be done, and the time frame that we have to do it. Recognizing we only have 2.5 years about until 2025 was over at the end of 2025, right? Because you know how you tabulate information. A year is tabulated at the end of the year. Right? And so we got to work. And we looked at the agriculture sector from the whole value chain, beginning to end. And we also started having consultations with the farmers and discussions with the farmers. What are your challenges? What are your problems? What are the barriers to production? And we got quite a wealth of information. And so as we plug that into the entire chain, we recognize the issue started at the beginning. Land and land preparation. And so we got to work there, and we bought equipment to aid the farmers in land preparation. And that's why we bought the 2 new tractors and the backhoe to be able to help our farmers better prepare their lands. And so far we've seen significant strides in that development. And then we move forward from that land preparation issue after being able to say we've done some work there in terms of being able to at least bring that to a higher standard. Having quality plans, because we recognize that was one of the issues complained by our farmers. We don't have enough plants and material to actually do the work we need to do in an effective and efficient manner, and the quality of the plants that we have were not at the highest quality. So we brought in quality plants. To date, we've brought in hundreds of thousands of pineapple slips and distributed them free of cost to our farmers. We've brought in over 100,000 banana slips and banana and plantain slips.
Right.
Distributed them free of cost to our farmers. We've brought in a number of other type of plants as well. And we are also distributing tomatoes, peppers, broccoli, and a number of other crops to our farmers as well. We have some coconut slips on the way. Another, I think it is 13,000 coconut slips, again to be distributed to our farmers. But the whole idea was to deliver on a 25 by 25 plan that was created, and we started that. So now we've addressed the land prep matter. We are now delivering high quality seedlings to our farmers. The other problem, you have the land prepared, but then we're facing climate change. Drought conditions more severe than we've ever seen them before.
Yep.
We have a portion of the year where we don't have adequate water, and we've seen the water challenges that we've been having. And agriculture competes with domestic use of water as well.
Correct.
And so we recognize that in order to be able to do this effectively, we must mitigate these challenges. And then we created the DRIP, which is the Drought Resilience Irrigation Project. And that project was our effort to help mitigate the effects of climate change, where we distributed ground covers to our farmers to help retain soil moisture. Drip irrigation to help target and use effectively the water that we do have. Water tanks to help harvest water and store water for a period of time as you could use it more effectively. And a number of other components that assisted that mechanics. And we've seen our farms since that blossom. A number of farmers have indicated how impactful it has been. But that project, and I must do this now, was not developed in isolation. We actually designed the drip off of the most successful farmer year after year in St. Kitts and Nevis, Yellow. When we looked at Yellow Farm, because Yellow was winning every year. Crop Farmer of the Year, Top Farmer of the Year. For the last 6-7 years, Yellow has been in the top winning position for crop farming.
And you used their model to
and we used Yellow model to develop this project. And so what Yellow Farm was designed to be, I went to him and I said, the boss, you have a wonderful design here. I would love to use this for other farmers so that they could see the type of success. And in his humility, Yellow was like, sure, let us spread the knowledge. He wasn't selfish and said, boy, don't take my design to give it to no farmer to compete again. He said, sure. And now we have a number of farms around the country that is designed in the same way as a man who over the last decade has won more years than not. This is what we're talking about, advancement. But we also recognize that if you grow plants during a drought period, we have savages out there called our green monkeys, the green velvet monkeys.
And that has been a challenge.
That is a challenge. So we also recognize, while mitigating against climate change, and if you create an oasis of food, you're going to be having challenges with the monkeys.
Correct.
And so as a part of that package, we also included fencing and some deterrent for feral animals. So we've also included that as well. So now the farms are not only prepared to mitigate against climate change, but now are fenced, and you have some protection against feral animals. And we designed that for 2-acre plots.
Okay.
Because we did a simulation of how 2-acre plots could be a basis to start certain level of production.
So we're looking at where preparation has been done in terms of land, providing the farmers with the necessary tools to achieve the 25 by 25 agenda.
Correct.
You've made mention of wild animals like the monkeys, which we know is a challenge, and it is something that we're actually, let's say we farmers across St. Kitts and Nevis are currently dealing with.
Yes, indeed.
Let's look at education and training, because even in farming, there are new technologies, there are new trends, there are new ideas of producing quality, nutritional, healthy food.
Correct.
What support has the Ministry of Agriculture given to our local farmers in terms of education and training?
Tremendous.
Okay.
Locally, on the local front, we continue to do a number of workshops and seminars. We have regular workshops and seminars in all different areas. Livestock production. We just recently did a workshop on building rabbit cages. We have had workshops on all the crops that we've selected. So we had banana and plantain workshops. We had tomato, cucumber, melon workshops. We had pepper workshops. Every broccoli, cauliflower, we had workshop on every single crop identified.
Right.
How to grow this most effectively, beginning to end. What value-added products can you add to this after you've grown it? Because we look at the entire scope of production. After you have the food harvested, how do you store it? For those that don't meet fresh produce market, how do you now value add so that you minimize wastage? The whole 9 yards.
Okay. So,
and additionally to the local workshops that we continue to do, we have gone overseas and we've brought in expertise, some expertise from Taiwan, and they have come to participate in some of the workshops as well. But outside of that, we also just got additional scholarships from Taiwan as well. And we went to Southern University and we signed an MOU with them last December. And they have now offered to us a number of scholarships, full scholarships, undergraduate scholarships, over 5 for our people, as well as graduate scholarships every year, annual, for agriculture. So there's a lot when it comes to educating our people, even in more advanced agriculture. We now have somebody from St. Kitts Nevis doing a doctoral program at Southern University.
Yeah, I read about that recently.
Correct.
So so we talked about education and training. We're talking about the support the farmers have been given. Now, let's look more at the 25 by 25 agenda.
Yes.
So most people have been saying, this is the end of 2024, 2025 is right upon us.
Correct.
What are some of the challenges that we currently have presently that the Ministry of Agriculture is targeting to try to achieve this agenda? So while we understand 2025 is next year, it doesn't mean that we should stop what we're doing.
Oh no, this is just the start of it. Yes.
What challenges or what issues is the Ministry of Agriculture looking at now and ways of addressing them as it relates to the 25 by 25 agenda?
So everything I've spoken about is really from there onward, 2025 and beyond, as we call it.
Okay.
So all of these matters that I've addressed are really in hopes of achieving that agenda.
Okay.
Now, let us take the plants that we selected. They're generally anywhere from 3 to 11 month crops. Why? We can't plant a 5-year crop in 2023 and expect it to yield fruit in 2025.
Correct.
So we have to plant crops that would yield within the time frame. So let us take banana tree. Let's just use that. If we put 100,000 banana trees in the ground, and that's a 7 to 9 month crop, and standard production practice says to leave 2 suckers. So then for every tree, you're likely to harvest about 3 bunches of banana annually. Just on average. Varies, but just on average. So that's 300 bunches. Let's average 40 pounds a bunch.
Yeah.
And let us say, okay, 40 pounds a bunch, 300,000 bunches, if you put 100,000 in the ground, and you even say $3 a pound. And we're just using some, so that's 300,000 bunches, $40, so that's what? 1.2 million, 300,000 bunches, 40 pounds, that's 1.2 million pounds at $3. Right? You start to see how the numbers start to add up. And this is just production scale. Then you look at the peppers. Then you look at the tomatoes. Then you look at all the different crops, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the kale. And all of these crops were chosen based on what we import the most that is feasible to grow effectively in the country. So it's not just random crops that we pulled out the sky.
Okay.
We look at the import bill and say, hey, we import X amount of pounds of tomato, and we import so much onions, and we import so much peppers, and we import. So what? We could grow these very well. What about we pick off that number? And we did the same thing for livestock. So I'm talking about crops, but we're doing the same thing for livestock as well, and fisheries.
And we're going to get into that. It's 11:21. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. For those of you who are just tuning in, joining me today is Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and we're talking agriculture development in St. Kitts and Nevis. Stay tuned.
The future is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Looking for the lowest prices on building materials in St. Kitts? The search is over. Builders Paradise has slashed prices on all the essentials: lumber, farm ply, doors, and more. That's right, we've dropped prices down low so you can build more while paying less. Whether you need lumber for framing, farm ply for foundations, or steel for structure, Builders Paradise has you covered with the best prices on the island. We've lowered prices on every key building material to help you stay within your budget. No one beats Builders Paradise when it comes to value. We offer the lowest prices on everything from doors to steel and beyond. So if you're building or renovating, now is the perfect time to get all your materials, because our prices are rock bottom. Why pay more when you can pay less? Come down to Builders Paradise, where we've dropped the prices on all your must-have building supplies. Hurry in today and see how much you can save. Located at the heart of St. Kitts, Builders Paradise is your number one source for the lowest prices in the market. Visit us now or call 466-4938. Builders Paradise. All prices dropped down low. Builders Paradise. The lowest prices in St. Kitts and Nevis guaranteed.
Pandora Jewelry brings the sparkle to Black Friday with 30% off store-wide. Treat yourself or someone special with lovingly crafted jewelry and gifts. Shop now through December 3rd and enjoy 30% off your entire purchase. Only at Pandora Jewelry. Offer valid only at participating Pandora retailers. Exclusions apply. See stores for details.
Available at IC Jewelers Port Zante. Call 767-5037 for details.
I want this and this. Oh, can I have?
Sure, we have an extra $600 from Flo. You can have everything you want.
Get it all with the gift of a free $600 MasterCard cash card, 2 free smartphones, and free installation when you bundle Flo Mobile and Internet. That's the gift of free times 3. Get it all this Christmas at Flo. Bundle in store or online at discoverflo.co today.
Merry Christmas!
Welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and in studio with me today is Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and we're talking all things agriculture, the development of the industry. We're looking at, so far we've looked at education and training for our farmers. We have looked at the support that has been provided to them in terms of land preparation, more equipment, plans and priority plans, I would call them, that we need to go here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But we're not just talking about farmers. We're looking at crop farmers. We have livestock. Correct. We have our fisher folk. So let's look at the fishing industry. What has been happening there in terms of what support has your ministry given to our local fishermen, and let's talk also about education, training, and other materials given to our fisher folk. Go ahead.
Yes, and likewise, we've taken a similar approach to the fishery sector as we've taken to the other sectors.
Okay.
Again, we've asked the fishermen folk, what are your challenges? And I could say, like, one of the major challenges when I came in, I asked some of the fisher folk that I knew were heavily involved in catching some of my favorite fish, because I like swordfish, tuna, and I asked them, why haven't you been able to? And they happened to be from Old Road, and they said to me, Minister, for us to be able to go out and catch those fish, we have to spend long hours and sometimes days on the sea, but we can't do it without ice. Because then the fish will be spoiled by the time we get back in.
Right.
So, as simple as it sounds to talk about ice, you see how impactful it is for the sustainable development of the industry. And at this time, the Old Road ice machine was down. And so they're saying the smaller ice machines did not produce enough ice for them to do the long voyage out to catch these fish.
Because by the time they get out, the ice would melt.
Correct. And so one of the first things I did was I got to work on repairing the ice machine, which has been repaired and up and running, and we do have the pelagics back on the market at this point. In fact, like I said, last year, our fishery sector brought in the highest returns ever, over $15 million. And so we were happy to see that development in the industry. But beyond just ice, we also offered similar training and development. One of the things that we've been looking for is the sustainable growth of the sector and protecting our marine resources. And we've been having discussion and training on ghost fishing and preventing ghost fishing with the use of biodegradable panels for fish pots. Because what happens with a fish pot when it gets lost at sea, the fish that are already trapped die because they're trapped in the pot over time. They become bait for more fish to enter the pot. They then die. That become bait for more fish to enter the pot, and they then die.
So it's like a clog is a build-up.
You have that series of ghost fishing happening, and if no one finds that pot, it just continues to happen. So the introduction of biodegradable panels, these panels biodegrade within weeks. So if your pot dies, the component that traps the fish in the pot is removed, and the fish can now easily swim in and out the pots, and it reduces the incident of ghost fishing, which means now there's more fish for us to actually eat rather than just dying in fish pots that are lost at sea.
Right, and the biodegradable pots are safe for the environment, of course.
That's right. And so that is one component. We've been building artificial reefs because we've seen a decline in coastal fish, and partly because our natural reefs have been dying due to climate change and the warming of oceans, and now we are recognizing that we need to create a new habitat for spawning and protection of small fish so that we can have a better fishery sector in terms of our coastal fishing as well. We've also looked at farming, and we're talking now sea moss farming as well as aquaculture. Because again, what happens when you have rough seas, we can now do farming of fish and shrimp and other seafood on land. And that way we have access to more food even in the face of some disaster. So there's a lot that we've been doing in terms of development, and we are seeing that that fire ignite and catch on, and we've seen sea moss farms being developed even further now, and I know a few aquaculture projects that are developing across the Federation, and that is going very well, and the fishery sector is actually doing excellent, so I'm looking forward to the continued growth in that sector and things moving onward and upward.
I like to talk about education and training. I believe that is one of the ways that any sector would remain sustainable,
of course,
and grow,
of course.
So tell us about some of the workshops or training sessions that the ministry has had with our local fishermen, and what are some of the priority areas for 2025 and beyond?
Yes, so again, aquaculture workshops. So we've discussed the idea of farming fish, shrimp, a number of other types of seafood. We also, sea moss was a major one, because let's take a country like St. Lucia. The sea moss industry in St. Lucia has yielded in some years over $13 million. And we are saying that we have coastlines, we have areas where we could grow sea moss as well. And so we wanted to tap into that market as well. We've also had so many workshops in just fish pot building. I mean, you name it. And a lot of this is driven by the fisher folk and their concerns. But we've also improved the fisheries complexes. We've done so much work in the fishing sector, and we'll continue to do that into 2025. One of the key things that I know that's on the agenda is the development of the Date Bay fishing cart building.
Okay.
So we see that on the horizon, and those bids are out for tender already. They should be back in a few weeks. And once contractors are selected, ideally with the funding in the new budget, we should see the development of that fishing cart building. There's also the refurbishing of the Bastia and Oldwood fisheries that we would have done significant maintenance work. And 2025 will see the extension of some of those works, because there's still areas to complete. Because none of this is a be-all and end-all. It is a constant development process. And even beyond me, it will continue to develop because it has to grow, right? So my job is to take it as far as I could. And we have been doing that. And like I said, the fisher folk are pretty happy right now because they're seeing some progress.
Right.
And again, it's a vulnerable sector, and the support doesn't stop today. And when we introduce insurance in the first quarter, hopefully of next year, we should see some additional
insurance for the fisher folk
and farmers. Yes.
Wow.
And we are also discussing facilities for farmers and fishers, financial facilities for farmers and fishers. We are hoping to provide access to finance. Some of our fisher folk have their boats on land, and we need to get them ocean ready again. How do we assist that? And these are some of the things in 2025 that we are looking to put at priority agendas. Yeah.
This is awesome news. Let's talk about like partnerships with other Caribbean countries. What are some of the partnerships that we have had, St. Kitts and Nevis and our neighbors, whether it be in the fishing industry, whether it be in livestock or just generally crop farming?
Oh yeah, we have quite a bit of partnerships ongoing. Of course, we know about the OECS, and that partnership expands throughout all sectors, but agriculture sector in the OECS, our partnership is strong. In fact, the ministers of agriculture across the OECS, we have pretty much a brotherhood, you know. It's easy for one of them to pick up the phone, call me, or me to call them if either is having an issue, and we are always there for each other's support. Also, CARICOM, of course, we are all banded around this CARICOM 25 by 25,
yes.
And so there's that partnership that is ongoing. But also, you know, we've been developing partnerships even as a Leeward Island and surrounding territories. And so the BVI, you know, when I talk to the Minister of Agriculture in the BVI, who happens to be the Premier, we have certain discussions about, you know, sharing information, knowledge, and trade between St. Kitts, Nevis, and the BVI. The USVI, you know, we we do very well at the St. Croix Agricultural Food Fair. You know, when we go, we win that competition annually in terms of foreign display.
Consistently.
And so we do very well, and we have a good relationship with the USVI as well, and the Agriculture Commissioner there, both past and present. St. Martin, we had a team from St. Martin that came over and again spoke on what they have been seeing happening in St. Kitts and the progress and them wanting to learn from St. Kitts. We've also had relationship we have with Anguilla, and even as we speak now, there's a team here from Statia, again looking to learn from what we are doing in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so all of these partnerships are developing. But further afield, of course, Taiwan, we have a strong bond with Taiwan, and the government there, and the mission, and they have been really helpful. Just recently, we opened a hatchery, which came through their support. And these are some of the things that we have. And of course, one of the other ones that we recently launched was our relationship and partnership with the Tabasco company, and which was being able to grow for them and have a sure market for our peppers to sell to Tabasco.
It's 11:38. You're listening to The Edge. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll look more into the Tabasco experimental plot project, which I know is a big thing in agriculture. So let's take this break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world. From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other, The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Health-wise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Listen, you hear the song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
Hey, guess what? It's Radio Market.
Call in and sell your merchandise. You can negotiate, give away and trade.
We on radio, internet, and TV.
Like us, share us, and subscribe to
ZIZonline.com.
And remember, we don't sell nothing over $5,000.
Call
Radio Market, every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Call 465-2555. 662-8674 or 718-577-2916. ZIZ Radio, giving back to the people.
Welcome back to The Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Again, if you're just tuning in, I have the Minister of Agriculture here, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and we're talking all things in agriculture. Minister Duggins, we are looking at the Tabasco Experimental Plot Project. We've been hearing about this now for some weeks. For people who are not entirely sure what this is about, tell us in a nutshell what this project entails.
Yes, this project right now, as it is, it's a matter of us testing out growing in our conditions for the Tabasco company. Mm-hmm. And this started last year in 2023, where I would have joined a delegation to Southern University, and that delegation, while there, we got an invite through Miss Hadia Claxton, Her Excellency, to the Tabasco company to do a tour.
Okay.
And while I was doing the tour at the Tabasco company, I asked a question like, can our country grow to supply to you? Mm-hmm. And that question initiated discussions that led to the executives of the Tabasco company coming to St. Kitts, mm-hmm. Falling in love with the place and approving us going for them. Mm-hmm. And now we are testing to ensure that our conditions could have the right yields and the right quality of crop for that company. Mm-hmm. Once that experimental plot yields success, our farmers could now grow peppers with a sure market to Tabasco. Mm-hmm. So it really means that our farmers could decide, I'm going to grow peppers just to sell to Tabasco.
Wow. And
Tabasco has agreed to take every single pepper that meets quality from St. Kitts and Nevis.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about exporting our peppers. That would be a whole addition to the industry.
So okay. This is just added to everything else that we've been doing. Right. The planting, the bananas, the sweet peppers, the onions, the mm-hmm. carrots, the mm-hmm. tomatoes, the everything else. This is just another avenue and another option for our farmers. Mm-hmm. But this option is a sure market, mm-hmm. where Tabasco has said, if you plant the entire country in peppers, we're going to take on.
Mm-hmm. Nice. We were talking earlier about the partnerships with our hotels, supermarkets, in terms of getting local food to these outlets. Let's talk about that. And we also mentioned storage facilities, agro-processing. Where are we with those?
Oh, yes. I mean, right now we've just installed a few additional storage units because we recognize if we are going to increase food production, we must increase storage capacity to hold that mm-hmm. additional production. Mm-hmm. We ordered an additional, I think it was 17 mm-hmm. to be exact, additional storage units. We had about maybe, I think it was 4 before, and we've now added 17 to that. Mm-hmm. And that will help with us storing food at the right temperature, making sure that we store the right type of vegetables, or separate vegetables, because there's some vegetables that spoil others just by being in the
same,
and so this is a part of what we are doing. And coming off of that, we've also had discussions and agreements with Rams, Value Mart, Best Buys, mm-hmm. some of the Chinese, all the hotels, and all the other institutions locally mm-hmm. to start using more local produce. And we've seen the uptake in local production and consumption by these restaurants. So when we have, like just recently, Rams did not order watermelons from overseas for a long period of time mm-hmm. because they were using all local
watermelon.
And once we have the production in a timely manner, because that's the other thing I want to stress on, that we can't go to Rams today and say to Rams, do not order watermelons tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We have to give them at least a 3-week notice, 4-week notice.
To plan and whatever.
To plan, make sure, because they still have a duty to their customers to ensure that they have watermelon on their shelves. Mm-hmm. local or not. And so we must give them adequate time. And what we found with some farmers is that they would plant, they would do their own thing, and then in the end, when they can't get them sold, and they're almost at the point of spoiling, they come to the agriculture department and say, we need them sold. At that point, it's too late. You need to let us know by the time the plants are going in the ground that, hey, I'm putting X amount of watermelon in the ground. We forecast that and we say, okay, we expect based on the amount of plants, X amount of production, we need a market for that. And then we tap some of these people early and say, hey, we expect to have X amount of watermelons. How much can you take? And then we prepare market space.
And the response from the hotels, supermarkets, it has been good?
Very good. Very, very good.
Okay. It is 11:48. We want to open the phone lines and begin taking calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. And again, if you're just tuning in studio with me is Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins. In the meantime, Minister Duggins, let's talk more about agro-processing. I know that has been a big thing over the years, but where are we now and what are some of the new advancements that have been made as it relates to agro-processing?
You know, as we talk about new and advancement, before I get deeply into agro-processing, I want to talk about what we've done with the market.
Okay.
Because, you know, sometimes it's the simple things. And for years we've had our market, and we're not taking away from the market experience. It's just sometimes where persons need stuff and don't have the time to actually go down to the market. So we have placed our market on 869 to go.
Okay.
And so even now as you sit here, you can take that phone of yours, go on to 869 and order your fresh fruits and vegetables from the market and have them delivered right here as we sit and have this interview. But again, that is using technology to make sure we have proper access to fresh food. And these are some of the things that we have done to advance sales and marketing in agriculture. But we also recognize the use of technology is important to reduce wastage and spoilage and loss. Because what we learned is that over 60% of all the food we produce are lost post-harvest. So we grow things and then lose them through spoilage. And we wanted to mitigate that. That was part of why we had the storage expansion, to preserve them longer. But also what happens to those that may not meet the highest standard, then we want to make sure that we develop our agro-processing. And we have been working on the agro-processing building over the last 2 years. And it's actually now just about completed.
Okay.
We have also looked into the development. Right now I think they have over 50 plus products that they have developed. And we are looking at expanding the product range. And so you have excess bananas, you send it to agro-processing, they make banana chips. They make banana flour. You have excess plantain chips, plantain flour. You have excess fruits, they make juices, they make candied berries. So there are a number of different products that are being developed. So where there are there's excess production, then we value add, extend the shelf life, create a product that also could be exported easily. So it's a whole like if you map the journey, land preparation, planting material, protection of the cultivation, harvest and post-harvest management, agro-processing, opening new markets. We've mapped the journey from the beginning to ensuring that food gets into the right hands and the right mouths. Not even just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but regionally.
Regionally, yes. And as I spoke about partnerships with other Caribbean countries, and you mentioned with CARICOM, the 25 by 25 agenda, what else would you like to make mention of as it relates to the Ministry of Agriculture, whether it be in fisheries or the livestock farming? But I believe we have a caller. We have a call on the line, so we'll take this call for the morning. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Want some of the agriculture, you know. The minister want watermelon, what else? The cantaloupe.
Yes, we have all of those things. All of those things.
Let me turn down the radio. Now I want to talk about coordination of plans.
Yes.
Still trying to turn down. I know you have them, but there's more. Let me get to the Nevis. Now we have the Federation, right?
Yes.
And some of them have, well, Nevis and St. Kitts have certain projects that can be coordinated. Let's go with the hatchery story. Nevis was prepared before St. Kitts. And I was surprised to hear that the chicken came in. You could tell me if you did. I didn't hear any was to go to Nevis. So many other projects. We are looking at 25 by 25 for the Federation, not St. Kitts.
But it is for the Federation.
What about the chicken for Nevis?
But the hatchery serves both St. Kitts and Nevis.
But you don't think it better to, because you are somebody said Nevis has a thing where they could process the chicken, right?
So Nevis, the Nevis abattoir does smoked chickens, and they do sell whole chickens as
Nevis,
well.
You know. So listen to Nevis.
Yes, we have some farmers on island that do processing here as well.
Slaughter and everything.
Yes.
And it was said that, it can be inconvenient to send them across. That cannot be true.
That can't be true because currently we import birds from the US and across the region. So if we import them from the US across the region, it's definitely more convenient to take them from St. Kitts to Nevis.
Yeah, but you're hindering Nevis' progress.
But how is that hindering Nevis' progress?
Yeah, let me continue.
Quickly, caller, because we want to take... caller?
No, let me continue now.
Caller, listen, quickly, because we want to take some more calls. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more. Now, the pepper. I guess you're where they're doing primary production. It's like cutting cane and thing and making sure. The company is going to get the greater value added by what we are doing. Because labor cost is going to be low. So you're going to crush them. That's a machine. They are the ones. It might have been a better idea for you to ask them to set up a machine here, a factory here, where we could produce some of the same thing, because we're not really going to get much out of it.
So, so while that Tabasco thing is one option, let us not neglect the fact that we have some excellent hot sauces on the island already in production. And this does not stop, actually this enhances the ability for us to produce our own hot sauces on the island. But let us not neglect that fact. This provides another option for our people. And it is creating options for the people. So let us not use one option and neglect the fact that Anastasia and Brimstone and so many other wonderful hot sauces are being provided and sold on the island.
It's 11:56. I think we have some more callers on the line. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take these callers. I think we can only facilitate maybe two more calls. You have a caller? Okay, we lost that call. 11:56. You wanted to continue with your response to the caller?
Yes, so I was just saying, I think sometimes we get trapped in singular views. So Tabasco is one option, but there's so many other options. And so if someone does not see the Tabasco as a fitting option, they could explore any other option. But what about those people that just want to grow some peppers? I don't want to produce anything off of it. There's an option for them. And then you have people like, again, Anastasia and so many others who do wonderful products who might say, look, I want to produce a wonderful hot sauce for the market. We are still supporting those farmers as well. But that's another option. And one is not mutually exclusive of the other. Right? So, my thing is we should not get trapped in singular views. And let me say, and I want to give respects to the minister and the Permanent Secretary for Agriculture in Nevis. We have an excellent relationship. There's nothing that we do in St. Kitts that we don't coordinate with Nevis.
For Nevis.
The whole 25 by 25 plan, we had a task force that was St. Kitts and Nevis, and we put that plan together collectively. I make regular visits to Nevis to meet with the minister and the permanent secretary, and likewise they make regular visits to St. Kitts. You speak to the farmers in Nevis. Just recently the farmers have expressed their gratitude, saying that they have never been so supported by the federal government in agriculture until now. And so I don't want that comment that we are stagnating Nevis's progress. That's an opinion, and we welcome opinions, but it's far from factual.
Thank you so much for that, Minister Duggan. It's 11:59, and you are listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I believe this is a conversation that we can definitely continue. Continue.
A lot of good work happening in agriculture.
Right, because it's every day is something new as it relates to agriculture in terms of, as I mentioned, livestock, fishery,
crop
farming, and all of these things. So, which is good. So, I hope to hear from you very soon, and I'll try my best to keep in touch so that the people are aware of what is happening. They get regular updates, and they know where we are with whether it be our 25 by 25 agenda and some of the new technologies and advancements being made in agriculture. Any last words, for
Yes, I must give gratitude. There are a number of persons that help to keep this machinery going. Of course, I want to thank the Prime Minister and the Cabinet for their support, because this couldn't happen without them. I also want to thank the Ministry, the Permanent Secretary, and the Department of Agriculture, as well as the Department of Fisheries and Marine Resources, because those are the engine rooms that make sure that this continues to flourish. I want to thank the farmers and everybody in the sector, fisherfolk, farmers, agro-processors, and everybody in the sector, supermarkets, hotels, everybody, because again, we don't produce, we just provide the support. It is the fisher folks that are out there on the waters, it's the farmers that are out in the field, and we are here to support them. So let us understand that this isn't about the government, it's about the people, and the government supporting the people. And I want to thank them for the work that they do. I also want to thank personally my good friend Mr. Elvis Utley, as we know him as Puyu. As he's called, the senator, because he has really done a lot of work in terms of assisting a number of farmers across the country. And I must give him his credit, because he does this pretty much gratis. He just wants to see the sector flourish. So I must thank people like him, and I want to thank everybody else at ZIZ for allowing us to have these conversations and update the public, as well as everybody else that puts a hand in the development process of agriculture and sustainable development of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you so much, Minister Duggins. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Thank you. It was a good conversation.